Hari Om. Hello. Good morning. So I just wanted to take a few minutes with you today and talk about the Be Still and Know retreat itself. Last week, we had a little talk about some of the background and motivation for the retreat. And if you didn't see it and would like to, I'll post a link down below. This is very significant, and it's a very significant time. You know, it's a very challenging time in the world, and so we forget, and we forget so easily. And this is you see, we're not this body, and we're not these thoughts and these desires. We are immortal. We are soul. We are spirit. Happiness is our birthright. It's who we are. Love is who we are. Real love, eternal love, the unlimited type of love, the unconditional type of love. It's really who we are. The silence, the peace that we seek, the love that we want, these are who we are. And so we forget. And of course, in this time, there's so much going on. There's always so much going on in this world. It exists in a way to distract us, but also to encourage us in order to find ourself, real self, to find God within the kingdom, as Jesus the Christ would say, nirvana, as the Buddha would say, silence, and the silence is divine. These retreats, the Be Still and Know retreat, the reason for them is to help us in the path to share what's been shared, what's been shared forever, really, but what the Guru inside shares. And when we have finally had enough of I, me, mine, and living this worldly life, which is not out there, it's right here. This is where the world exists, right here, not someplace else. And the worldly ways are here, and the desires are here, and wanting something here in order to do it is here, and all of it is here, and there's a way beyond. As the Buddha would say, Four Noble Truths. There is suffering. Suffering is the nature of this world. The cause of suffering is desire, personal desire, I, me, mine, just I, me, mine. And delusion, I, me, mine, this identification with the body as me, which is not who we are. And so there's a reason why it happens. People can ask why. It's better to ask the question, how to be free of suffering, because that one has an answer, and that speaks to the third and fourth noble truths, which are that there is an end to suffering. It doesn't end on its own, but there is a way to end the suffering, and through one's own practice. And this is the fourth noble truth. And so these retreats, these Be Still and Know retreats, are about this. It's about practice and really practice. It's very much practice intensive, practicing silence together. But it's not just that. We don't just sit in a room and be silent. Because the issue we have is that the mind doesn't subscribe to that. If it would all be well and good, then we could sit at any time and be silent, and the mind would participate. But of course, that's not what happens. Is if we try to sit in silence, then the mind goes. But silence is our true nature, and so what we work with is how to help this mind to focus, to concentrate, how to help it open to the reality of us, to the highest reality here within. And frankly, we're in it as well. We're in consciousness as well. Love surrounds us. But within this, when we've lost ourselves to this and we follow this, instead of training it to follow the light, then we don't experience silence. We don't experience peace. We try to get it. We try to get it out there. And we can't find it out there because in worldly ways it doesn't exist. We have to go beyond the world. We have to go beyond the mind within ourselves. And so this is the place of silence. And the purpose of these silent retreats is nothing other than to help us to develop a deeper relationship with this silence, who we are. And oh my God, we need it now. Don't we need it now? Don't we need it now? You want it later? You want it now? And so the inspiration for the silent retreats we talked about, and it's this. So here I want to share a little bit with you about the retreats themselves. Many people, many of you have had the inspiration to participate in a silent retreat. And of course, mine says, later. I don't have time for it now. I'll do it later. Oh my God. It craves silence, and yet it says later. We'll do it later. And frankly, there are different types of silent retreats. And there are silent retreats that are very dry, and they're very beneficial. Vipassana retreat, for example, 10-day retreat, and some have participated, and they're so powerful. This is not a 10-day retreat. The longest we have is a 1-week retreat. They're generally weekend retreats. We have 7 of them this year. The schedule below, please take a look if you have any interest in silent retreat. We have a page on the website that deals with what these retreats are. And first I'll tell you, it's not about money. It's the opposite of this. It's about helping you each who have an interest in finding the silence within yourself, in taking deeper root in it, and developing practices and strengthening practices that will help you to find this silence and to live in it. And to live in it so firmly that even when Paramahansa Yogananda said that the yogi must be still in the midst of crashing worlds, and oh my God, crashing worlds. Oh my God, crashing worlds. But the yogi is still in the midst of them. That is on the inside. Be still and know. Still, quiet, at peace, in the silence not lost. This is the purpose of a silent retreat, and all of them. This is the purpose, is to find the silence within. It's not to practice silence together. It is to practice in a way that helps us to find this silence within, to make it practical for us, to develop and strengthen practices that will help us. Practices such as chanting a mantra. Sometimes people say, but it's a silent retreat. Why are you chanting mantra? Well, the reason is we chant mantra a lot, and it's not breaking of silence. We chant mantra in order to still the mind, in order to help the mind to concentrate, to focus, to get out of the gutter, to get out of the world, and to take the world out of the mind. This is what's sad, is this whole world thing we think we need to escape. But what we need is to train the mind. This is it. We need to take the world out of the mind. This is where it exists. And so we are up early. They're intensive weekends. The 1 week is an intensive week. We're up early. We're up at 5 a.m. or so. We meet at 6 a.m. We practice together until 10 p.m. And there is alone time in terms of practice, and there is structured time in terms of practice. We chant together. We discuss the philosophies, not from a philosophical perspective, but practical, how to apply them. And the retreats are donation-based. And if you don't have any money at all, we'll find a way to get you in the retreat. It's not about that, as I was saying. So that's it. These are not dry retreats. These are juicy retreats. These are not enjoyable in the worldly way, but so deeply enjoyable in terms of finding the place of communion within us and sitting together as a sangha, participating together, not talking about what we like and what we don't like and all this BS, but instead focusing in a way that helps us to find the place of unity. Most practically speaking, one of the most remarkable experiences from these retreats is when we sit together in the closing circle and we look at each other sitting around the circle, and we ask the question, how do you feel about each other? There's nothing but love there. Oh my God, it's so powerful. Nothing but love there, because in the center, in the heart, in the silence is where we are all together, where we are all one. When we talk about stuff, worldly stuff, and we try to argue it out and figure out who's right and who's wrong and all that, no end to it. Many branched and endless are the thoughts of the irresolute mind. That's Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so enough. If you've considered a silent retreat, please check this one out. It's not very long, but it's long enough to be powerful, to give you some good medicine that you can take with you, that you don't have to rely upon anyone else for, that you yourself can practice in your daily lives. So I encourage you, for yourself, for your family, for the world, find more silence now. And this retreat will help you. I promise you, honest to God. So I'm going to close right now. Love you so much. Om Shanti.